Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del challenges the status quo, questions everything, and empowers you to return to your core beliefs to make your life better. If you're ready to hear the truth and get your roadmap to the lifestyle you really want, the next hour will change your life. And now, your host, self-made millionaire, national award-winning investor of the year, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. But my friends, you can't be financially free if you're psychologically imprisoned by disabling belief systems. What do I mean by that? Well, I've been watching here the last 2 days all this political stuff and people breaking into the Capitol and President Trump saying he won't step down and all of this insanity and people just going, oh my God, it's a constitutional crisis, it's this, it's that. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, I'm 64 years old. I've lived through about 20 of these different crazy things in my life. And this little form of craziness is just another little bucket of craziness. There's been hundreds of moments in my life I thought the world was going to blow up in front of me. I remember watching the World Trade Centers go down and, you know, the flight that took out the Pennsylvania people and all that stuff going, man, this is unbelievable. The world is coming to an end. And it didn't come to an end. And nothing really has come to an end. We go into war after war after war. We come out. It's not come to an end. We think that the world is this fragile place that's just one more tip this way or tip that way and the whole thing blows up. And the reality is none of that's true. The world is just a group of people trying to survive. They all have different ideas about how that should work, and they all work with or against each other to try to get there. Now, I've lived through Republicans. I've lived through Democrats. I've lived through split parties where, you know, one party held half of Congress and the other party held the other half. I've seen Congress controlled by one party and the president controlled the other party. I've seen it all. And the one thing it comes down to each and every time is that the world is like a pendulum. I've said this 1,000 times for the 30 years I've been doing this. It's a giant pendulum where it swings way too far each direction. The Americans needed what Trump brought to the table and got rid of all the legislation that keeps you from doing things. Got rid of all that, made it easier to do business, changed the tax code to really stimulate corporate America, not individual America, but corporate America, and went out there and got the economy going. It was a great job. So what did he think by doing that good thing, by slowing China down and doing you've heard the list of things he's done. He's had 20 people get up and tell it for him every day from different places, different things, different people, just touting what he did. What he did was he let his ego get too big, believing that everything was him. And in that point, he became a lunatic. And quite honestly, everybody now realizes Donald Trump is a complete and utter lunatic. He is not the patriot he claims to be. He is a self-serving, maniacal, insane monster that can't help himself. Did I like him as president? Yes. Did I vote for him? Yes. But I don't vote for this kind of insanity. And this is what happens. The pendulum went too far. And when the pendulum goes too far one direction, people are going to jump on the other side of the pendulum, and they're going to bring it back down. Whenever you think you're too big for everybody else, somebody is going to knock you down a notch or two and bring you back into reality. Because no one person, one group, one company can dominate the world for long before people see it and want to change. So what do we want to cover today and for maybe a couple more days? I want to cover the concept of fearing the unknown and the fact that you've got Trump telling you that if he's gone, the whole world is going to go away and collapse, and the Democrats are going to turn around and progressives are going to turn around and make some incredible changes to our country. And the funny thing is the progressives are screaming they will. So we're back to the same nonsense that Trump came out screaming that he would. And so everybody was in need of a Donald Trump set of theories and principles to get the country back aligned, back in homeostasis. But Donald Trump took it too far. He took it too far with his ego. He took it too far with his tweets. He took it too far with all of the maniacal, self-serving stuff he did. So now the Dems got power because people get sick of people like that. And now the Democrats got power, and they're saying, we're going to do all this stuff. And they're screaming and yelling about everything they're going to change. And will they change things? Yes, they will. Absolutely. And they're going to change politics completely to where maybe the Republicans never get back in again because the Dems are thinking down the road 10, 20, 30 years. The Republicans are thinking about what can I put in my pocket today? I want to make money. I want my business to succeed. I want to get ahead. And it's me, and I in my own little world. Dems are thinking power. What can I give away to other people so that they will give me more power so that in the long run I control everything? So you end up with these guys like Zuckerberg that are billionaires and control everything. And because everybody lives by their product. And so the same thing happens with politics. You look at somebody like the new president-elect, and Biden has been in politics for 45 years. He's never had a job. He's never worked. So by hanging on like that, he has created a power base for himself. And now being president, that's the ultimate. He now has a way to strengthen his power base, and he'll ride this thing for 4 years, maybe even 8. Because really what the Dems are going to do, if they're doing anything at all, they're going to destroy the ability for Republicans to get elected again. And you say, well, Del, don't you care? And I say, no, actually I don't. The reality is it's a pendulum. It goes back and forth. Let's talk about that for a second. What if the Democrats take all of the government's money and give it to the people? What are the people going to do with it? Now, let's say the Republicans take all of the government's money and they give it to big businesses. What is big business going to do with it? Big business is going to save it, put it away, buy more of shares of something, own more businesses. But the little people are going to spend it. If you give it all to the common folk is going to spend it. They're not going to save any money. It's not the way they live. I was reading a story just yesterday about a pro football player who made $400 million. And today his net worth is, and he's still playing, only $1 million. He spent every penny of $400 million because that's the way people like that think. So you give simple-minded people money and they spend it, right? You have to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Well, the reality is you just do what we've always done. Own your business, produce a product, a service, and produce it under the level of, or under the understanding that it's the best product at the best price. If you're the best product at the best price and you're a product that is needed by society, then you will stay in business and you will do well because society needs your product. But if you have a product that nobody needs, it's really a junk product, and when times get tight, people might back off from spending, then they may cut back on that product. But not if your product is something everybody needs. And the two things everybody need is food and shelter. And so, my friends, when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes people are making psychologically in the investment world right now if they are on the wrong side of the understanding, and talk about what you should be thinking about for 2021. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today and for a few days into the future here, I'm going to be having shows about what to think about in 2021 because we're in a changing environment. And I don't think people realize how scared they really are once this becomes a changing environment. Of course, if you're a Republican and you see Democrat control, that scares you, right? If you're a Democrat, you see Republican control, that scares you. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. But what I would like to share with you is that whatever changes they make, the core of what people do when they get up every day is the same. They get up and go to work. They get up and earn money to pay for a place to live, to pay for food to put on the table. and sometimes to pay for transportation. And if not, if you live in one of the cities where there's lots of good public transportation, then that is a smaller amount than if you own your own car in other places. But mostly you have to have a place to live, and mostly you have to have food to put on the table, and of course some clothes. That can be really controlled and cut back quite a bit. But those are two other things is you got to have a place to live and you got to have a place to eat. And I think people misunderstand this. So what I'm going to do is I've been sent a series of questions from scared people. And I want to cover these questions because I want you to understand a couple of points about the way we see the world. The way the world is the way you see it. If you see it as bad, it's bad. If you see it as good, it's good. It's all about perception. It's all about where you place your position in the world. So right now, let's say you're a Democrat and you say, we just want everything. Man, you are jubilant. I saw the guy the other day on TV, Chuck Schumer. He couldn't keep from smiling. He was trying to be a serious person and deliver a serious conversation. He was laughing through his teeth like, ah, ha, ha, we got you now. And I would just look at him and go, well, I understand your joy, right? You're now in power. Power is corruptive. You saw it happen to Trump. It corrupted his brain. Now, Schumer will become powerful. Pelosi will become powerful. Biden will become powerful. And these people will just go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But what are we going to do about it? Get up every day, go to work, find a place to live, put food on the table, pay whatever taxes they tell us we have to pay. And if we're on the low end and they lower our taxes, we're on the high end and they raise our taxes. You know, I tell people all the time, I have in my seminar say, raise your hand if you paid $400,000 in taxes last year. And nobody raises their hand. And I go to them, you know, you don't have a tax problem. You have an income problem. Because if you made $1 million a year, your taxes would be 42% of that, and you'd pay $420,000. Bingo. Right? That's what I pay if I make $1 million. So I make $2 million, I pay twice that. So I make the point to them, you really are worrying about something that is only a part of what happens in your life. Your marginal tax rate at the bottom is only like 10%, then 15%, then 20%, then 30%, then 33%. Very few people get all the way up into the 40s. And by the way, if Biden said he's going to take that 42 and turn it into 44. So it's 44 instead of 42. So what do I do if they charge me more taxes? Well, this week, today, I'm closing on another business. I'm buying another company. Next week, Thursday, I'm buying another company. I'm buying 2 more businesses, 2 more real estate businesses, rental income businesses in 2 weeks. So I think, if they raise my taxes by 2%, but I increase my overall income by $20,000 a month, and now they take 2% more of that, I guess I'm okay. It doesn't really matter to me. While everybody else is saying, oh my God, the whole world's going to collapse and there's no way to make money in real estate, which is just not true. So let's answer some of these questions and then I'll try to bring it back together. And, you know, the comment here, the problem of this conversation, guys, is that I don't sit down and write my radio shows out. I just think them out and talk to you about what I really feel. So what happens is that there are points I want to make and then there is a general theme I want to make. And I'm going to take you away from the general theme and go to the points. Get down into the minutia. And then if I have time, we'll get back to the theme again. If we don't, I'll pick it up later in the week. You want to listen to probably this show. I'll probably do another one Monday, maybe another one Wednesday and next week. I'm not going to do them back to back to back, the same stuff, because people get tired of it. But let's talk about this. Here's some questions I've been asked. How does rental real estate work right now when no one is paying rent? One of the first things I want you to understand in life is no matter what anybody tells you or asks you, you have to always ask yourself this, is the underlying premise true? So this person isn't actually asking a question. This person is making a statement. The statement is, with nobody paying rent, right? With nobody paying rent, how do you survive? How does this business even work? Well, that's assuming that nobody's paying rent. Well, there's some major mistakes in that assumption, like this. During the worst part of COVID, when everybody was scared to death, they were dropping jobs and they closed everything down, our occupancy dropped down to 89%. What are we right now? 97% occupied. Okay? So where are they coming up with this idea? Nobody's paying rent. They're saying, well, the government says you can't evict them. No, you can't evict them if they've thrown out of their job and don't have any money. But if they do anything wrong, you can still evict them. If they break the lease in any way, you can still evict them. So all you're doing is you're looking at people that are struggling. And when you get down to the point where you're trying to offer the best product at the best price and you're caring about people and you're going to them and saying, look, I understand you might be struggling. Tell me where you're at. Let's work this thing out. And we've been able to work out deals with the people that get them through. Not only that, we help them fill out for all the different types of extra payments they can get and awards they can get. And they've got all this different stuff. I don't even know the name of it because I didn't do any of it because I don't work in my business. I work on my business. We help people fill all these things out, tell them when we hear there's new ones, and they go and get some money. But how many people is that really? I want to read you something here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It's an interesting thing. It says, at the height of unemployment due to the pandemic, the rate of unemployment was 14.7% nationally, which means that 85% of all Americans are still employed. So the first mistake you have is that you believe that no one is working, so no one can pay rent. But really, the 14% unemployment isn't any worse than what it was when the Democrats were in power. Right? Take a short break. Be right back.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. If you're just tuning in, today is a conglomerate show where I'm doing two things, trying to push this ball. I'm trying to get you to understand that people are scared right now, and they're making statements and comments that just don't make any sense, and they're worrying about the world coming to an end and blah, blah, blah. They're also wondering, even the logical people, what do we do in 2021? Is real estate going to be affected by it? And if so, how and what should we do to be able to play the game? And I made the point before we went to break that, okay, people are saying, making grandiose statements that are based on non-fact, okay? And the first one, the most grandiose statement is, how does rental real estate work right now when no one is paying rent? And I was just getting ready to make the point when we had to come to a break that people are paying rent. I was reading this statement aloud. I will finish it. It says, at the height of unemployment due to unemployment rate was 14.7% nationally, which means 85% of Americans were still employed. Now, unemployment is around 6.7%. Obviously, some areas are hit higher and harder than others, but even though those cities and states hardest hit, the majority of Americans have remained employed. So think about this. 6.7% unemployment. At one point in the world, when I was growing up, was considered 6% was full employment. You could not get any better than 6% unemployment. When Barack Obama was president for 8 years, it never got better than 6.7% unemployment. So the Democrats might leave it at 6.7% because they won't do the things to hike that last 3 or 4% of unemployment to go away. So who are the people who are going to get hurt by that last 3 or 4%? Those are the people Trump was screaming that he was helping. Black people, Hispanic people, the underserviced people in our country were actually making money and getting jobs because there was so little unemployment. Everybody needed to work to fill up all the job opportunities. Boom. Let's say that goes away. Let's say unemployment hovers at 6.7, 7%, 8%, even 9%. All of that is the way it was when Barack Obama was president. The world didn't end. We had plenty of tenants, right? So that isn't going to be a problem. It isn't a problem right now. What is a problem right now for landlords are people that went in undercapitalized, didn't have any cash, barely could afford to buy what they bought, didn't renovate their property so their property could sustain itself through a tougher period of rental, loss, and or they just don't know what they're doing. And we've had, I think, 3 or 4 properties over the last 2 years that have had either a situation where they went in with no money, exactly that. The person was one can short of a six-pack that was running it. One person was a complete thief and just turned around and started stealing people's money, et cetera, et cetera. And another one was just a poor operator and, again, undercapitalized. That's 4 out of 50,000, guys. It's a minuscule number of people. Now, outside of our environment, Lifestyles Unlimited, I'm sure there's a higher percentage of failures. Although being a part of the Apartments Association, we're not seeing it there either. So that premise is going to make somebody say, we can't get rich in real estate because there's no tenants. Well, folks, there's just as many people now as there ever been. So what about the people that don't pay because the government won't let you evict them? What happens over a period of time is, and we've had a year to play with this now, you will start screening people. Yeah, the landlords that were too lazy to screen people will start screening people, and you'll put good people in. And the people that have terrible histories, terrible rental history, terrible payment history, terrible credit, they're going to have to find a slumlord to live with. The slumlord will take them because the slumlord offers nothing as far as product and will receive as little rent as you're willing to pay them because they're not providing any product. We're providing incredible products. People want to live in our places. They don't want to leave. It costs too much to move. It's too dangerous to go into a new place that you don't know if you can get a new job. So why risk losing your old job, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just throw that one off the board for right now. There is no problem with tenants paying the rent that is going to devastate a real estate investment. Okay, let's go to the next one. Is there going to be another crash? So many people in real estate lost everything in 2008. Why would I want to start now when the risk is highest? Boy, this one is so big, I'm going to have fun with it here. I hope there's a crash. In 2008, I tripled my net worth. Why? Because the prices went down. So how would you create right now a real estate crash? Right now, there is none, and there will not be any. Why? Because real estate is the safest place to put your money right now. Always has been, but it's right now preferred investment, especially multifamily. And so real estate's not going anywhere. But if it did, let's say the Democrats took away all tax deductions away from real estate like Ronald Reagan did in 1986. And in 1986, we had stock market crash, a real estate value crash. The world came to an end for 3 months. Why? Because he took the value away from owning real estate for people who used it as a tax break. People like myself who got started at 87 go, you know what, you can really buy this stuff cheap right now. In fact, I can buy it so cheap, I can rent it and make a 20% return. Cap rates were 20%. I buy a building and I made 20% of my money without leverage. If I put leverage on it, I made 30 or 40% return. Ungodly returns. Right now, you can earn less than 1% on a savings account. So do you think I hope that happens again? Yes, I do. In 2008, when the world crashed and cratered, I bought real estate 50 cents on the dollar. I said, well, what happened to the stuff you already owned? I kept it. It stayed full. We rented it. We made money. It was already mine. You don't lose money unless you sell, and you don't sell unless you don't know how to operate. And we know how to operate. Look around you. Is Kroger's going out of business in this pandemic? No. Is H-E-B going out of business? No. Are any of the major grocery chains? No. I just bought 2 grocery stores. Why? Business and real estate. The real estate is incredible. The tenants that I'm leasing to are big name companies, and they're there. They weren't even touched by the pandemic. Because why? Because people need a place to live and people need to eat. So when you look at this, you're thinking about it completely wrong. We hope the prices would go down so we could get a better deal, so we could get really, really rich. But I'm telling you they're not going to because everybody knows that, and everybody wants real estate. The only way they could lower the prices of real estate is if Biden comes in and says, there's no more depreciation, there's no more 1031, there's no tax advantages. Then what happens is the people that only bought the real estate for the tax advantages will have no value in the asset they own, and they'll be willing to get rid of the asset at a lower price until it becomes only people owning them for income. And once that pendulum swings that direction and everything is owned by people who want to own it for income, then the real estate will go right back up again. If it ever even dips, hardly at all. I've been waiting for a dip in real estate for the last 5 years, hoping and praying. There's been no dip in real estate. My gosh, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable how expensive real estate is right now. Say, well then, am I in too late? There's another one. Maybe I'm in too late. In too late for what? I got out of single-family housing because I bought them at $25,000 a piece forever. When prices went to $40,000 a house, I said, man, this is way too rich for me. So I got out. When I got out, what happened? I bought apartments at $10,000 a door instead of $40,000 a door, and the $40,000 houses went up to $75,000 within 2 years, and then $100,000 within 2 more. And my $10,000 a door properties went up to $20,000 to $30,000, and I could have made way more money with the houses I owned. But I goofed. I got afraid. I said, prices are too high. So I looked at buying an apartment complex. It was a Class A about 4 years ago, right around the corner from my house. They wanted $103,000 a door. I go, oh my God, $103,000 a door. That's insane. Never would I pay that much. It's now worth $140,000 to $150,000 a door. So when are you going to guess to get in or guess to get out? We don't play the guessing game. I play the fear game because I'm a type B personality. I become afraid of taking a step that might be dangerous. But when I take the step, inevitably, I've worked it through. Psychologically, I'm ready. I get in there, we do a good job, we make money, and over time, the thing takes off. That's just the way it works. But no, real estate is not going to crash right now. And if it did, thank God and the Democratic Party if they can actually destroy real estate's value. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today, we're finishing up on the concept that people are afraid of nothing right now. They're afraid that because of all the political stuff that's going on, because of the COVID stuff that's going on, that the world is coming to an end and that there's really no way to beat it, and that real estate, more specifically, because I'm talking about real estate, is just not going to work anymore. It just doesn't have the power it used to. And so I was given a number of questions that I've been going through here today, and I've got a few more that I'm going to cover. One of them is, are there still deals out there? This one is insane. I swear to you, on a stack of Bibles right now, or whatever you want, your Quran, or whatever you believe in, I swear to you, I got today in the email 3 deals from one guy, 2 more deals from another guy, and 2 more deals from another guy. There are so many deals out there, I'm getting tired of looking at them all. They're just everywhere. And our real estate company, Lifestyles Realty, we send out documents almost daily, at least once or twice a week, of deals that our members have done, that literally got done. Every week, something goes out. And usually we only send it out once or twice a week so we don't bug people, but when we send it out, there's 2 or 3 or 4 deals that they're showing off at the same time. Now, let's talk about people coming on the radio. Once a week, I have somebody on Tell Del that tells you about how they got rich through real estate. Every month, we have a case study of how somebody got rich in real estate. And usually we have 2 people to each case study, 1 single family, 1 multifamily. And before there was COVID, where we're doing these things live, we were doing 4 cities a month. So that means there was 2 people in each of 4 cities, 8 people a month testifying to how they got rich in real estate. And we've done this every single month for 30 years. And it doesn't stop and didn't even stop. When COVID hit, all we did was go online. Said, okay, you say we can't meet, we can't get together, we can't gather in groups? No problem. We went out and developed an online presence, online forums, online delivery systems for everything. Now, luckily for us, we had already decided to do that 2 years previous, and we had all of our data online, and our training classes were already being perfected to be online. But until COVID lets us go back, we'll do it all online. Guess what? The day COVID says it's okay, we're back in the offices again. But what I want you to understand is that real estate hasn't stopped during all that time. It just keeps going and going and going. So no, there are no limitations to deals out there. The next one is just really stupid. Is real estate, making money quickly in real estate, a scam? No, it's not a scam. Have there been scammers in the past? Dave Deodato, Robert Allen, Jeff McCone, Tommy Vu, the Mylans, Ron LeGrand, Carl Cheese, Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump even had a seminar program. But those were all seminar programs where you go listen to some dude speak and you buy some books and tapes and then you go off on your own and do it. This is not a seminar-based program, although there are seminars. This is a hands-on, investment-based training program. In other words, you guys buy the investments, we help you do it. If there are no investments, there's no real reason to have training. So they go hand in hand. They're symbiotic. I own real estate companies, so we can find you the deals, because if there are no deals, there's no reason to buy the training that gets you ready to buy the deals. And hence, I figured it out 30 years ago. There's got to be an adequate preponderance of deals to keep the students happy. So I created real estate companies. Go, well, Del, how did that work? I said, well, I started one in Houston. It worked really well. So I started another real estate company in Dallas that worked really well. I started another real estate company in San Antonio. Worked really well. I started another real estate company in Phoenix, Arizona. Worked really well. I started another real estate company just last week in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll see how it goes. Does it sound like somebody who's stopping real estate investing? Does it sound like a world where there's no opportunity? Last question is, does it still work now? It still works now, and it will still work no matter what they do to the economy. The politicians cannot take away the need for people to have a place to live. Short of stealing everybody's assets away from them and just absconding with all of our personal wealth and assets and taking our real estate away from us, there's really no way that they can fulfill the housing needs for our society unless they allow for there to be real estate investors. That, my friends, is why we're here. That, my friends, is why our income is tax preferenced. In other words, we have deductions that we get to use that earned income people don't. Because we create not only housing, but we create jobs. We create jobs in our apartment complexes. We create jobs in the vendor program where we have builders and painters and plumbers and electricians making money because we own businesses. We are the financial stimulant engine for the country. That's the truth. And that's why we're always going to be here in one shape, one form, or another. Now, if you picked up a MAGA hat, which was a Donald Trump hat, and said, okay, I'm all in for this one, well, maybe you just need to pick up a whatever it is, Democratic hat and go, I'm all in for this one. Change your stripes. Run with the other pack. I was a horse, now I'm a zebra. But I'm still a living, breathing, money-making machine, providing for my family and my friends and my future. No, sir, will I roll over and die just because people are trying to scare me that the world is coming to an end because they are not in control of the world. Don't let that happen to you. Get back out there. If they tax us 2% more, then buy 10% more. And if you buy 10% more and get taxed 2% more, you're net positive 8% better. And not only that, you're happy because you're not worried anymore. They can take it all away. Remember, friends, it's not just about money. It's about financial freedom and the quality of your life. You and you alone control the quality of your lifestyle. And the only way you can do that is to get your mind right and your investments right and live your life. Have a great day.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley radio show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.